Welcome to the Political Matrix News. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Political Matrix News broadcast, newscast, and any way you want to cast it. We have Jonathan back. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey.
Our lone Democrat of the team. Actually, we have some other Democrats, but, they're not back yet. But we have, first time back in a couple of weeks, we got a Democrat voice here on the air, a bona fide Dem. They're rare nowadays in this part of the woods, because, especially with our team, we usually like to beat people up a lot. And so, Jonathan takes it very well. So how you been doing out there?
Just,
we've had a lot of things happen since you were on the show last. We had shootings, resurrections, resignations, a guy that looks like a little hippie guy, shooting, climbing up on a building, Secret Service, AWOL. It's been a hell of a 4 weeks.
Like I said before, it's 1968 all over again.
I think it's 1968 on crack. It's going way bored on 68. 68 don't hold a candle to this.
No, it was pretty.
Hey, we still got time left, okay? We are going to work to out 68. Yeah, we're probably 69, 68. Who knows? But it's going to be one weird year.
It's like you look for historical precedents and correlations, and this is a unique election year. But when you have the assassination attempt, and then a sitting president saying I'm not running or dropping out, you got 1968. If you want another parallel, guess where the convention is this year for Democrats?
Chicago. Baby.
So it's like
Chicago.
Deja vu all over again.
And real quick, I want everybody who's watching this to subscribe, like, or follow us during the show or after the show. It's free. There's no cost to it at all for the moment. We might charge later whenever we get really big and popular, but we probably never will charge at all. And so, that being said, it looks like today is the last day of July, and it has been one hell of a month. And what do we have today for the big surprise of the day? Except for Iran, of course, going to attack Israel, which is probably every other day occurrence.
Yeah.
We have Trump saying that Kamala Harris, he's questioning her skin tone or her race.
Yeah. Well, she used to be Indian, but now she's black. That's, black,
The way he says it, yeah.
Black person, yeah. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I watched it live, and I know it is full sarcasm because he is not happy with how the moderators were treating him. However, that being said, PR 101, know your damn audience.
No, but as a world leader, you should rise above the occasion. That's what
he is not going to rise above sarcasm. That's
Reagan would not have gone down this road.
Yeah, but he's not Ronald Reagan.
This road.
He is Donald J. Trump, and that is the way he is. He is a he's a guy who fights really hard, and he means everything he says to the
he did the classic
degree.
Narcissist 101. It's like he made it immediately about him.
Who isn't? Cam was a narcissist too. Come on.
Not to that level. Trump teaches college courses at his fake university.
Well, he has a fake university? Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't think he teaches any college courses. What I do think he does is he teaches an entire group of people to learn how to stand up for themselves. Unfortunately, some of them take it to the extreme and they go off one direction. But I think one interesting thing that nobody's talking about today is in the discussion with the black journalists and with the convention at the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, is that they were talking about the January 6th issue. And they're trying to get him to say that he is just as guilty as they were for violating for attacking the Capitol. And he kept on talking about the issues of Minneapolis and issues in Seattle and the entire summer, which I talked about a lot. The entire summer of burning up the entire country through all the protests that happened during that entire 4 or 5 months. And numerous people died, and numerous people got injured, and thousands of billions of dollars worth of property was burned and destroyed, all for basically civil disobedience, and not just civil disobedience though, because they even took over police precincts and killed cops and kidnapped people and so on and so forth. And they basically did not want to talk about that at all. They only wanted to talk about January 6th. There was no equation of the two. And that's one thing I think that Republicans aren't doing as well. There is an equal thing on this here. I mean, when you break the law, everybody should be treated the same way when you break the law.
Yes, but none of those other groups attack the capital of our
No, they
sovereign.
attack the capital of their own states.
They lawful.
Yeah, they're 1,000 miles away from the capital of the country, but that's because of proximity. Those people did not attack the capital because of proximity, not because they didn't want to. If they were within a mile of the capital of the United States, they probably would have attacked that capital too. This is they attacked the capital of the states that they were in.
Washington by Donald Trump.
What?
They came from all over the country, invited by Trump.
Yeah, yes, we understand.
We out front of the White House.
We get a big mosaic, follow me through the Red Sea thing.
Go down the street and stop the spiel. I'll be right there with you. Which I
remember.
But again,
but also we have the whole issue with all the riots and everything else happening throughout the entire 2019 and 20 cycle in the summertime. Protesting, which I think were good protests because we did have a lot of police violence against unarmed people, which was never really never justified at all. Period. No. And I agree with them being angry about it. However, we had Kamala Harris going out raising money for people to go ahead and just get out of jail without any kind of bail. And the guy who was actually funding that at the time, he didn't care what they were in jail for. He was going ahead and going to bond them out anyway. It didn't matter at all to him that they were in trouble for murder or attempted robbery or assassination attempts or raping or stuff like that. He didn't care. And basically,
the capital of our sovereign nation
because of proximity. They did not attack the capital of the United States because of it.
Process.
I understand. You keep on, but that's two different things. You're talking about an attack on a city here 3,000 miles away, comparing that to attack on something where they were there at the moment.
No, it doesn't matter.
So you're right.
They attacked the capital of our nation. They broke in windows. They broke in doors.
It's semantical.
No, it's not.
I mean, the whole reality is that if they were in our nation's capital, like the people who are protesting and supporting Hamas and everything else are currently, they'd probably be doing the same stuff that the January 6ers did, and more so, if they had the opportunity to.
The only people
they were being invited in by the guards. Like the January 6 guys were being invited in by the guards. Like, come on in.
No, they weren't.
Help them destroy things.
Films on TV.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things on TV. There are cameras on all sides of the Capitol. There's cameras saying that they were breaking in windows. There's cameras saying that they were invited inside by guards. There are also cameras showing a guard shooting one of the protesters in the face. And nothing, and nobody's ever really, the girl who died, who got shot in the face.
She was attacking the chambers.
She was a protester, correct. And she got killed.
Yes.
And nobody talks about that.
The thing nobody talks about is this miraculous that there were fewer deaths that day. I think
that's very true. There's only one death that day. It was the people
considering the situation. I'm talking. The situation the police force was in that day was extremely stressful, but they had restraint, and that was the only fatality of the day for a protest.
Yeah, you're right. There's 140.
They were blocking the doors, trying to keep people from breaking into the House of Representatives chambers, where there had been a meeting going on right before that. Again, a constitutional process that they were instructed to go down the street and break up, which they did temporarily. But the undermanned police officers held their ground without inflicting but the one fatality, which I still think they don't get enough credit for. People were chasing after the vice president. There was the officer's name escapes me, but who diverted them so that the vice president and his family could get away safely.
Right. That's great.
You had people waltzing up and down the halls, sitting in people's offices, damaging U.S. property.
Yeah, the majority of them coming
The
from
only
Northwest
people that have
Florida.
ever done that before was the Royal Army of King George III.
And strangely
So,
enough, the majority of the people doing this were from Northwest Florida, which is the district of Matt Gates. And
yes.
I'm sure there were probably some flights that happened through a few airships, possibly, that came out of his district to fly people up there.
No,
And
we're
that did
already aware of
happen.
that.
We already confirmed that already.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying what January 6th guys did was right, but I mean,
It's
it kind
not
of
the
leaves
same
them.
as the protest around the country
No,
over.
it's not the same. But I mean, but that's what they were talking about during this event today. And basically, the entire story is about Trump's sarcasm about, is she Asian? Is she African American? I mean, granted, he's going to try to do the birther movement thing with Kamala. It sounds like the same way he
Which
did with
which
Obama, and
again
he's going to
reeks.
lose and be embarrassed again, and the same way. For those who still don't believe that Obama was born in America. And I happen to think he was half the time, and sometimes I think he wasn't. But you never know. So I'm just kidding. But
That's
the
what
whole point, the
was with.
reality is that they're probably going to do the same thing with Kamala, and so we have no idea what.
But what's different this year is that a lot of sane Republicans are trying to tell him and other Republicans don't do that.
Yeah, please shut up.
Run on the issues. Run on.
Yeah.
Well, they say run on Trump's accomplishments, but I can't think of anything he accomplished other than tanking the
Well,
economy with
okay,
COVID.
no, whatever.
But again,
Biden's accomplishments right now are basically the work that Trump did.
Biden's not running for president, so
Exactly. And so Kamala's accomplishments right now are basically
she has run.
is
She's
off from all the work that Trump
she's
did.
a clean
Trump is the one
candidate.
that laid the groundwork for the good economy that they're talking about. That's actually helping to rebound against the inflation that's
But she's
created
a clean
by
candidate. She's running on her
a
own
clean
record.
candidate. Really? Are
Yes.
you serious?
No,
She
when I clean candidate, I mean she hasn't previously been president.
Oh, you're right. She hadn't previously been president.
She doesn't
That's
have a
correct.
record
But
to run
she's
on.
previously ran numerous times. And
No, no,
I
I'm
mean,
saying that she's
right
when
now,
she's
no
a
matter who
candidate,
she picks,
she's never run for. She's a new candidate for president.
no matter who she picks to run for VP, if she actually picks Pete Buttigieg, it'll be the first time the presidential candidate has fewer delegates than the vice presidential candidate. She hasn't ran anything successfully. She got handed this seat just from Joe Biden, and the majority of the
That's
14
the
million people
nature
who
of vice
voted in the
president.
primary,
They either get the seat through death
yeah.
or resignation. In the
Well,
case,
imagine if that happened with Pence, and Trump stepped down and Pence became president. How many Republicans would be happy about that? Not too
I'd
many.
be fine with that. I'd feel more
You're a
comfortable.
Democrat. Of course, you'd be fine with that. You say he's easy to beat because he's low energy, just like low
Talking
energy,
about him
low
being
energy
easier
Jeb.
to
And so,
is that he's not Donald Trump. He's not a threat to this country. He would have been a typical Republican president that I could be more familiar with,
he
like a
lost
George
in the election
W. Bush or a Ronald Reagan or a
because they
George
went stole the
W.
election for him even easier.
But he's like so many hundreds and maybe thousands of people who Republicans can't stand their own party because he had the guts to stand up to the Donald.
Right, and he did, and I appreciate the fact that he actually stood up for the Constitution and everything, and I agree with that
Exactly.
part.
Yep.
The entire thing that
And
Trump was
he's
trying to get him to do was totally unconstitutional, totally 100%.
so he did the right thing that day. And I think if he were a president, he would be a much better president than Donald Trump.
But I don't
But
think he'd be allowed to be a president because I think the way they cheated against Donald Trump, they'd just cheat even more so against Pence.
no, I don't think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't think Pence would. I don't think Pence would be as paranoid about all the cheating as Trump is.
well, and then
Trump is
he
actually
has
right about a lot of the cheating.
overblowing cheating.
We still
So
have in here. I'm living here in Alachua County. We still got dead people on the voter rolls that the election supervisor here where I live at will not take them off until she gets a death certificate.
well,
That's what
they were
she
saying
said.
the same thing here in Santa Rosa County, but she's a conservative Republican, so that's
Exactly.
that's
It
just
might
a
not be. It might
backlash.
not be a party issue. It might just be an aptitude issue,
No, it's an extreme right wing issue, is what it
left wing
is.
issue. Yes,
No, right wing
left
because
wing. Because I
now,
mean, we have a lot of
I'm just
Democrat county. We have a lot of Democrat counties with dead people
talking
voting,
about
man.
Santa Rosa County when you've
Well,
got
yeah, you're in Santa Rosa County. You're in the Panhandle where I grew up and everything, in
yes,
Escambia
we're
County.
attacking
So,
the conservative
but
Republicans
I'm back over
legalizing
here, back
guns.
home in Gainesville, and it's just as bad over here, man.
Well,
I
but
mean, we got some issues,
the
and so
issue though is the cheating. You know, you're now you're accusing your own kind of cheating for.
no, I'm accusing cheaters of cheating. Not my own kind. I'm not a cheater,
Well,
and so
so
I'm accusing cheaters of cheating, and those are not my kind of people. And so it's a nonpartisan, bipartisan thing. It's usually done by
70%
people who
of
want to keep
the
control,
SOEs in this state are Republican.
right? And I'm not saying all of them are cheating
And
either.
one
I'm
of
saying
them
a lot of them
it
are doing really good.
was appointed by DeSantis in heavily Democratic Palm Beach County. So,
I don't know anything about anybody in Palm Beach County. I don't think they had a fair election in the last 100 years.
well, if they didn't last year, DeSantis's crony was running the show. So,
And the year before they weren't.
yeah, he was. He's been in there 2 years now.
Okay, year before that they weren't. And so my point is, I mean, we've had funny business in elections as long as we've had people who are afraid
But
to stand up and start
but
looking at, what's going
we're
on.
missing the entire point of today is that
Well, I've actually basically taken our object off the entire point today, which is that we have a presidential candidate who's trying to who is being aligned as a racist.
well, it's not so much that is that as I said earlier in our conversation offline, uh, Republicans don't get it. You
And we
can
get it,
you can justify Trump all you want,
and we're not justifying it.
but it's not how he's perceived by you. It's how he's perceived by the group he's speaking into. In this case, black journalists who
I
speak
agree.
to black Americans.
I can
They
agree
have their
more. I
own
mean,
interpretation of what
you,
they saw today.
you and I have been, we write speeches, and this is what we do for a living with the political matrix and our political consulting. I mean, we tell people you have to know your audience, and you have to make sure your articulation is, in line with the audience you're speaking to. And obviously, his articulation of that one area there was not. I did think he did very well with the economy issues he talked about. He talked about abortion issues and talked about pro-life issues or pro-choice issues, and how he was very for the three exceptions on pro-choice and everything. He was not for them, having it at eighth or the ninth month of the pregnancy. And he's also correct. I don't think most people are for that, unless it has to do with the life of the mother or something like that, some sort of a medical emergency. Most people are not going to just do that randomly out
Well,
of child support or just child care reasons.
but that's not
They're
what
going to do it
people.
because they have to, and so most people aren't going to carry a baby that far.
But that's not what people heard today.
Well, I know people heard what the media went ahead and spun it out of control with. Is that, oh,
I think a
did
lot
he
of
just
people
say what they said?
watched the
I mean,
entire live.
he said a lot more stuff than just that.
No, but it's still, as I said, in history, there have been these moments during campaigns that
Right,
have
there are
been.
moments in history that outshine other moments as well, and I get that. And
Uh,
it was a shining moment of, I cannot
Mitt,
believe he said that.
68, Mitt Romney's dad made the point about the space aliens, and that ruined his chances in New
Yes,
Hampshire.
it did.
72, Edwin Muskie started crying on stage because people attacked his wife, and that got us McGovern. 76, Gerald Ford said in a debate, "There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe."
Wow.
I'm going to keep going on and on here. Dukakis in a tank,
Yeah.
Howard Dean's little girly laugh.
Yes.
Is
And
this
I actually think what you and I said earlier today off the record, we were talking about Howard Dean. I think this is actually probably most comparable to what Howard Dean did. Howard Dean was on the rise up, going. Then he made that crazy laugh thing, and he went down like a turd in a toilet.
exactly?
And
But so often in election cycles,
one thing.
that's all it takes. And then you've also got, we haven't talked about Trump's speech to the Christian group a few
Oh, do we
months
need to talk
ago.
about that?
where
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, please come
we'll
out
talk
and
about
vote.
that in a
It's
different
4 years.
segment.
You won't have to."
Okay,
So
well, I mean, there's so many things that were
let's
taken
talk
out of
about that in the
context for
next
that
segment.
because
But
what he was saying was basically
next,
in 4 years after you reelect him, everything will be so good and so wonderful and so virtuous, you won't want to vote again
that's
because
not.
you will not want to screw it up. That's what he meant. It was not some autocratic thing.
Nope,
It was
that's
some
not
sort
what
of
he said.
Christian utopia thing, is
Nope.
where he was going with it.
No, I think he's talking about elections will go away
Yeah, that's
with.
what you think he was talking about. But I think
No,
he was talking about some sort of Christian utopia that would be
I
as
don't
a
see.
result of his election and his 4 years of being presidency, how everything would be so pro-life, everything would be so pro-God, everything
But
would be
that's
so
been the whole point.
pro-virtuous
Is
that
he
you would
says
never have to vote again because
he
everything would be
says
so
things,
wonderful.
defends them, but everybody else does. Oh, he didn't mean that. You're taking out of context. He
Well, I
was
mean, people do take a lot of things he says out of context.
Tom Cotton did that the other day, and it's like, no, Trump says what he said. If he didn't mean it, he'd have come back and said, I didn't mean it that way. No, he didn't. He owned it.
Well, he's never going to say that.
Well, but I mean, that's because
If
that's what
if he is going to say that, if he is going to correct himself, it's never going to get any airtime. I mean, if Trump
he
actually went back and corrected himself, you think anybody would ever air it? Really?
Fox News should.
Well, Fox News is only one of one small little media
Yeah, but
outlet
at
out
the
there
time
with
they
a
had
whole
the highest
the
ratings of
entire
all of them. So yeah.
but not all at one time.
Yeah, but and then you've got JD Vance who's attacking cat women with no children and doubling down. I mean, he's not giving
Well,
up. He's gone on news shows and like, yeah, I meant it. I know it's
I got a
sarcastic.
banjo back here for JD Vance songs that
You
we'll
know,
be doing in the next segment here,
now you've got a
and
large
because
segment of
he's
the party.
hillbilly elegy, I got a
Yeah,
hillbilly banjo.
yeah. So now you've got a VP candidate that could drag him down as well, but he does a good job of that himself. And for Harris, the strategy is the words of Napoleon: when your enemy's making a mistake, don't interrupt him. So you don't even really have to comment on the issue. That's what we should
Well,
do. We
who's she
need to
gonna
smoke
pick?
some cigars during these shows.
I mean, who's she gonna pick really?
We still don't know. I
She
mean,
said she's
it's
gonna announce on Tuesday.
well, but this kind of well, are you going to make a huge announcement when Trump pulled this today? You're going to wait till the news cycle simmers down a little bit. Just like you said, this overshadowed Israel and Iran. So,
It did.
you're
I
not going
mean,
to
we got
announce.
World War III going on out there, and Trump being a racist is a bigger deal than World War III.
Well, that was acted out on live. We can't say television anymore. It was on live Facebook, but yeah.
I watched on. It was actually CNN. They actually aired the whole thing.
You've been watching a lot of CNN lately.
I know because it got bought by a Republican,
This is true.
and you can tell the people on CNN don't look really happy about their programming, and
Yeah,
because they would never ever have in the past. A year ago, they would never broadcast an entire interview with Trump. Period.
but also
Anywhere.
they've
So
kind
that
of
would be
gone
on Fox
to
News
their
or
roots.
Newsmax. That'd be it. But
They're
now it
actually
was on Fox News, Newsmax, and CNN.
they're going back to the roots in a way. They're going back to
We're going back
actual
to ratings.
journalism. But
We're trying to get ratings.
the day of the shooting, I was comparing their coverage to the other networks, and
Well, the
it was
coverage
just
was horrible at the beginning part of the shooting because they thought it was a firecracker.
yeah. Well,
The
there was a
girl
lot
thought it was a
exactly
firecracker or a fire stick
that happens
because
after
she
any
saw
shooting.
smoke from the podium and she thought a firecracker had hit the podium. And I was like, okay, you're an idiot. And she's there on the scene. I'm like, that's not a firecracker.
Yeah,
Come on.
but the thing
Like,
is
man, it
then
sounded like
from
it.
then on, it was the coverage we remember from the opening night of the first Gulf War.
Exactly. When we had Wolf
and
Blitzer and
what's his name were under the bed in fact.
exactly. All three
You
of those
know,
guys were all
but
underneath the bed in Baghdad.
the
And
coverage
George
they
Bush
used to
Sr.
do,
was.
yeah, but
That's what real
it's
news was. Bernard
yeah.
Shaw.
So we need to talk about the next segment, Israel and Iran.
Yes, we do. And that's where we're going to go ahead and close it out here for this segment here of the Political Metrics News. Please remind yourselves that after you watch this episode, please subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And if we're going to be on TikTok anymore, we have no idea. TikTok doesn't seem to want to play any of our stuff because they think that we're not decent enough for the community standards, because we seem to attack people that they support. And so, like the
We ain't said a
Gateses,
single word against
Trump.
Elon Musk.
Well, no, they don't support Elon Musk. But TikTok's just a weird ticking and talking to take away from going away anyhow. And so, but we will be on Spotify here soon as well. And we are also going to be on Apple podcast as well within like the next month or so. And so, so go ahead and look out for us in all those places, and we'll be right back.